to all who may be watching on the streaming services at home. We're having some technical issues getting people logged in, so please bear with us. again, for those who may be watching virtually, we're having some issues getting the land bank members on. There's been a barrage of technical issues this morning, as well as if you've gone to the city's website, you can see that the city's website is also down. So please bear with us momentarily as we get everyone logged on.
Hey, TJ, I just talked to Paul Gamble. He's trying to get on. And Chris is talking to Courtney, and he's trying to get on as well. If you go to, hold on.
It should be a non-issue in about 3 minutes. Aaron, everyone should just be able to click the link now. In the Zoom system, I've put them in all as panelists, so they should not have any issues logging on.
Okay.
But if they do, they can always register and it will just bring them in as a panelist.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Oh, better now.
Oh, man. Whew. All right, let's just vote to have in-person meetings. Can we meet somewhere 6 foot apart?
Well, it looks like we're getting there.
I
So
know, slowly but surely.
we'll just blame TJ, I guess. I don't know. We'll blame someone.
I'll take the hit for this one, Chris.
I saw TJ. Oh, that sounds like Frank. Okay, well, that'll work.
Everybody blames me for everything anyway, Chris, so.
That's cool. I'll just pile on.
Right. Can we wait another minute to see if
Yeah, we could probably hold up another minute.
Smith is going to attend? Gee, we made it.
Sorry for being late.
Well, we were all late.
We were all late.
Well, we have a quorum. All right, I'd like to welcome you all to the January 25th Erie Land Bank meeting. I'd like to remind you all, in the interest of keeping minutes, this meeting is recorded. First, I'll take a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Feeney. Is there a second?
Hang on.
I'll second.
And by Mr. Groner. Any questions on
Get
the
on the meeting.
now I'll take roll call. Ms. Feeney.
Aye.
Mr. Groner.
Here.
Aye.
Mr. Gamble. He's on the phone.
Yes.
Yes from Mr. Gamble.
Ms. Smith,
My vote is yes. The ayes have it, so moved. Citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments today? Any citizens' comments? Seeing that there's none, we'll move on to section C, reporting the executive director, Mr. Sniffer.
All right, thanks, TJ. Work plan 1, the only outstanding issue on that one continues to be 422 Poplar Street. Attorney Sundberg probably will be able to update us on that during his solicitor's report. On to work plan 2. Everything on that work plan that is to be demolished has been demolished. So every structure that is coming down at the current moment and was under contract is down on the ground. Just some minor seeding to be taken care of on a couple of lots once some of the snow pack melts off and we can get a final grade on those. The only real outstanding structure on that one is 2606 Jackson Avenue. I spoke with Halsit, who is the company we contracted with to clean out the property. They promised me that I will be able to get into the property February 1st to do an evaluation of it. It certainly contained a lot more stuff in the attic and the basement than any of us really anticipated. So it cost them a little extra time there. So they're hoping to have it so that it's presentable enough to take people through by February 1st. So that's the date they've given me. Other than that, the rest of them, we're working through offering up to neighboring property owners in hopes to convey a lot of these vacant lots over. So That is all I have as far as work plan 1 and work plan 2 under my report. TJ.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. We'll move on to the solicitor's report. Mr. Sundberg.
Afternoon, everybody. Gene Sundberg. I have what we've been working on is to try to make sure that we can convey free and clear title on 409 East 4th, 319 East 22nd Street, and 112 Sobieski Street. My understanding is, and Aaron, jump in there, these are, now that we've cleared the title, we're anticipating transferring these to Best.
Yes.
And we are working to get that done, prepare the deed, and make that transfer. And I will certainly work with the attorney for Best to accomplish that as quickly as possible. So we're good there. Aaron, they're starting to run together a little bit. 422 Poplar Street, is that Zimbar?
Yes, the one with the board of viewers.
Yeah, here the update with regard to that is there was a formal board of view appointed on that, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It resulted in communications with the owner, so that he realized, okay, he's got to do something with this property, and we reached a resolution. A settlement amount, and then it has gone radio code silent to the point where I have now filed a motion to enforce the resolution or the settlement with the board of view. Now the tricky thing is I've had to redact what we agreed to pay him for this property, because if it got denied and we needed to go to a board of view, I couldn't really poison the well. Mm-hmm. So I am literally waiting from the board of view to say, yeah, Gene, you have a resolution, and it should be resolved at that amount. And if not, then let's do the board of view and bring this to a head. The head of the board of view, he retired. That was Ray Pagliari. We had to get a new. It's just been one unfortunate delay after another. But I am very hopeful that we will have this done by the end of January. If they won't rule on it, then I'll go back in front of Judge Dimitrovich, who was the original judge who handled the condemnation for us. So I'm confident that we will have this resolved by this time next month.
That's good news.
That would be great news, Aaron. You will hear me. You will hear me from 300 State Street.
Oh, I bet that one's been on the. God, that was a while ago.
Well, it's been too long. This guy and this owner, I don't want to take up more time. This owner is from York. The underlying problem is that he mortgaged this property with the Northwest Savings Bank for way more than what it's worth, because, we said that it has virtually no value. So even what the agreed upon amount was way less than what he owed on it. So he's getting pulled in a million different directions. He doesn't want to lose the property, but he doesn't want to necessarily lose the money that's on the table that's going to short him from what his payoff. That's not our problem.
Right.
That's not our problem. So, I've been as tactful as I can with this gentleman to say, look, you've got to resolve that with Northwest. And if you need help from me to provide documentation to convince them to take what our offered amount is, I'm more than happy to do that. And he has not responded in any way, shape, or form, including he hasn't even responded to my motion to enforce the settlement. So I'm telling the board he's acquiesced to it. Let's pull the trigger on this and be done. So that's kind of where we are. And it is a new week, and I will be back at the Board of Viewers to confirm that.
Great.
Gene, do you need action for that, or are you just continuing as you've been?
I just think simply continuing, and then I'll report again next month on this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your report, Gene?
It does.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business and new business, property dispositions, 528 East 21st Street.
All right. Oh, shoot. Hold on. I just wanted to share my screen. I made a diagram so you guys can see where these people live that are putting offers in. I don't know if I will be able to or not. There we go. All right, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Okay. So we had the offers, and this one was the one we talked about before Christmas. We have the two, the Marday and the Nugent. Those two gentlemen put in offers, both for $600. They are property owners, one on either side of the property. The one at 530 was the gentleman, Mohammed, who put the address of the store at the corner of 21st and Ash. He has since, I spoke with him, he has sold his two other properties, that one and the other one he had on 21st Street. So his only property he owns any longer is 530 East 21st Street. So the other one, that Nugent, he owns about 17 properties in the city of Erie currently, all of which are current on taxes. Both of these guys current on taxes. Neither of them showed up on the water, sewer, and garbage either. The only other offer on that one was from Dan Fior. He says he owns a property that adjoins. He actually owns that secured storage facility in the back. It doesn't actually connect to this property. So those are the three offers we have. The tough part is that both people on the east and west of the vacant lot are offering the exact same thing almost.
Aaron, are any of those owners occupying those addresses,
No, none of them are owners. No one that put on in an offer is an owner that occupies any of those properties.
Did Mr. Marday indicate whether the 530, the store, is that going to be used to enhance his business with parking, or?
Well, 530 is a house. It's I believe a 2-unit property, 560 East 21st Street. So we're right in the middle of the block here at 528, 530. So it's just a duplex unit that he owns next door.
I see.
Is that a duplex that Mr. Nuan owns as well? Is that what it was?
Yes.
So they're really identical.
Yeah, 100% identical, and like their use is the same. They both want to make it, side yard for gardening. I mean,
I guess if there's really no other, they're both current on all taxes and utilities.
yeah, everything that I could find. Yes.
I don't know if we go with the individual that put the offer in first.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely could go that route. I mean, he did put it in roughly 21 days earlier. So first come.
Yeah.
It's really the only thing I see distinguishing it. I think before we said we really liked the idea that he said he was going to put a fence and he was going to have insurance for liability as well. The last meeting we
Yes.
said that.
Yeah, I agree. I'll just go ahead and make the motion that we convey that property to Mr. Morday for the amount of $600. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Bronner. Any question on the motion? Seeing that there's none, I'll take roll call. Ms. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Gamble,
Yes.
Mr. Groner,
Yes.
Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And my vote is yes. The ayes have it, so moved.
All right. 2218 Parade Street. All right, you guys should be seeing that one now. So we got four offers on this property. And this one, so we've got Mr. Crosby, who owns the property to the north of 2218. James Bill, who owns the lot and the property that actually contains the structure on 22nd Street behind it, which he bought the lot next door to the south from the ERA. And then we have an offer from Miss Walters, who owns the vacant lot next to Mr. Bill's property. So she's not technically a side lot. And then Miss Glover across the street, who put in an offer to use it as parking for her property since she has no off-street parking. Mr. Crosby owes taxes. He owes water on, he has 5 delinquent accounts for water on his rental properties. He owns 4 properties I could find in the city of Erie, one on 11th Street, one on 24th Street, and one on, I believe 2 on 24th Street. And all of them he owes taxes, 2019 taxes on 3 of his 4 properties. Mr. Bill owes no taxes. He does have a garbage delinquency, which he was upfront with me about. It is his tenant who constantly pays late and he basically waits, he said, until his bill gets to about $150, $200, and then he pays it for whatever reason. He's been doing it for 4 or 5 years now. But other than Mr. Bill has no taxes on any of his properties. Miss Walters has no taxes, no bills, but that is the only property I could find that she owns is that vacant lot on Parade Street. And then Miss Glover has no taxes and no garbage or sewer on her property as well across the street. So,
I got a question. Can you hear me?
yes.
Miss Glover, where's her property at? Is it on the east side of the parade?
It is on the east side of Parade, about 2 houses up from the lot that we were talking about.
Has she indicated what she was going to use it for?
She says she's going to use it for off-street parking first, and then she said she wanted to develop a youth neighborhood group teaching children self-esteem programs to help in school with a garden and such.
Okay, and Mr. Crosby, the delinquent taxes he owes, is that just something that he pays later, or is he just constantly either late with payment or doesn't pay?
Yeah, he pays late every year. It appears it's showing as he catches it up every year, but he pays late to the point where it stays on his record. The one property, he looks like he owes his late fee plus about $11. The one next door, 2214 Parade Street, he owes his school taxes for last year yet. And then his property on 11th Street, he owes all of his 2019 taxes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe, Aaron, maybe for the sake of narrowing it down a little bit, I'm much more inclined to work with a neighbor and a resident than an out-of-town landlord. And then especially given that he's delinquent on his taxes, I don't know if we want to just eliminate one at a time, but I mean, I'd much rather work with a neighbor that's going to invest in their neighborhood.
I was going to say the same thing Chris was saying, because, representing the school board, if he hasn't paid his school taxes, I would be inclined to not want to award him that bid.
I agree with all of that. Plus, it shows here that he lives in Waldorf, Maryland. I mean,
Yes.
I think that, in my opinion, he should be scrubbed.
Well, I want to be fair with Mr. Crosby too. That's why I'm asking those questions. He's a longtime Erie resident. His mother lives in the neighborhood. So I'm not going to discount him because he lives in Maryland, because he has been giving back a lot to our community. I agree with all of your comments, but I also want to put that out there. That's why I asked.
Yeah, and Paul, I'm familiar with that too, because I'm familiar with Cliff. But when I hear he hasn't paid his school taxes, I guess that's where I would not be inclined.
And I agree,
Yeah.
and I agree with you, Darlene, but I had to ask those questions.
Right.
Aaron, do you mind putting that map back up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, sir.
Please.
Did you say
Well, I guess
Mrs.
the pleasure of
Walters?
Then it's for Mr. Bill.
What was that, Chris?
I'm sorry, Paul, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
So I guess what we're saying is that we're looking for Mr. Bill and his bid or proposal. Are we going to put it in a motion, or are we still in discussion on this?
We're still discussing this, Paul, because there's 3 other offers here.
Okay, all right.
Aaron, did you
Aaron,
say
when
Mrs. Walters was that she doesn't live there? That's just a vacant little sliver of land?
Yes, there's this vacant lot there. Yeah, and I couldn't find anything else that she owns in the city.
So I don't know, using the same logic here.
Or I'm sorry, she's listed as one on 3008 Marvin Avenue. So I'm not sure of her purpose for that vacant lot.
So just throwing it out there, if we're going on the same logic of tie breaking, we want to maybe work with somebody that actually lives there. Would we want to choose between Miss Glover and Mr. Bill?
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
Mr. Bill's,
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if that's really kind of the tie breaking, premise we want to work off of, or.
Well, Chris, Mr. Bill that lot's empty. He actually doesn't live in the neighborhood.
yeah, Mr. Bill's a landlord, lives in Cambridge Springs. He owns, there's a structure on his lot behind the vacant lot on 22nd Street. So he just, he bought that lot from the ERA when we offered it up to neighboring property owners a few years back.
Aaron, when did you send out Mr. Bill's proposal? I'm trying to look for it. I have the other 3.
This morning, he finally got back to me last week. He got it over to us over the weekend, and I sent it out this morning.
Okay.
Before 10 o'clock.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I didn't see it in here. How much is he offering?
He's offering $600.
Okay, I have it now. Thank you. I guess I'm more inclined to look at Miss Glover's bid because she's a homeowner. But you're saying that Mr. Bill lives or has a property, are you saying, on 23rd?
On 23rd Street.
On 23rd, and there's a structure on it,
Yes,
but he does not live there.
he does not live there.
Okay.
I agree with Darlene. I just feel like we should give residents and homeowners first bid on this, as long as they're current on taxes and everything. Give them the opportunity to invest in their own neighborhood.
I also like Miss Glover's plan a little more.
Well, and she's being honest. She's saying, first I'm going to use it for off-street parking, which very much would be needed on Parade Street. So.
I would agree with
And
that.
then, yeah. So do you want me to make a motion?
You may.
Or we?
I mean,
So I'd like
does
to
that
make-
cause an issue does that cause an issue for us to go not necessarily with the
Across the
highest
street?
bidder? I mean,
No, the board can decide to accept any offer regardless of the bid. They meet the minimum bid. So,
No, it's certainly something that you guys at the board have done before, is select the offer that best fit the needs of the neighborhood.
yes, that's what we try to do.
I think that's what we did with the property on 25th Street a couple months back.
You have a motion out, Darlene? We
I
need
can make a
second.
motion. I can make a motion that we accept Cynthia Glover Mohammed's bid for 2213 Parade Street.
I
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second it.
A second by Mr. Gamble. Are there any questions on the motion? Seeing that there's none, I'll take roll call. Ms. Feeney,
Yes,
Mr. Gamble,
Yes.
Mr. Groner,
yes,
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. The ayes have it, so moved. All right. That wasn't terribly painful.
Nope.
The next on the agenda is election of officers. I might be confused, but didn't we do that? Or was that redevelopment authority? Aaron, which one was it?
That was the redevelopment authority. And then it's confusing because we kind of kept pushing on the officers for the land bank throughout 2020. And we didn't elect the vice chair until Chris came in November, I believe. So, it just finally, the chairs finally got, all the seats finally got filled, and now it's that time of year to do it again in January.
Okay. Well, that being said, I'll open the floor for nominations. The first office for nominations is chairperson. Is there any nominations for chairperson?
I'd like to nominate TJ Sandell for chairperson.
I
I
second it.
accept that nomination. Is there any other nomination?
you do as
Like-
well.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Seeing that there's no other nominations, nominations for chairperson are closed. The next on the list of nominations would be vice chair. Is there
I
any
nominate-
nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Chris Groner.
I will second that.
Do you accept that, Chris?
sure.
Is there any other nominations for vice chair? Any other nominations? Seeing that there's none, nominations are closed. Next on nominations would be secretary. I'll nominate Miss Feeney as secretary. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
There's a second. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing that there's none, nominations are closed for secretary. Last office is treasurer. I nominate Mr. Gamble as treasurer. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any other nominations? Seeing that there's none, nominations are closed. I'll now make a motion to accept the election of officers through unanimous consent. Is there a second?
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Second by Ms. Feeney. Roll call, Ms. Feeney,
Yes,
Mr. Gamble,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Groner.
Yes,
And my vote is yes. Congratulations, the motion passed. All right, we're moving right along. 2020 tax sale transactions. Aaron,
All right, in your packet, we received 2 property acquisition applications from our West Bayfront. One is for a property at 404 West 8th Street, and the other is for a property at, or no, that's her address, 521 West 3rd and 702 Raspberry. 5 why the one on West 3rd Street is in a little worse condition, but she has requested that we use the land bank to acquire those from the tax sale. Then this would be on top of the other 2 properties that Best still has out there for us to acquire that we approved back in October, 614 East 5th Street and adjacent alleyways, and then 445 East 5th Street. So, you know, if we got all these, you know, if you approve these 2, there would be taken 4 at the tax sale. And Anna is on if you guys have any questions about her applications.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we acquire 521 West 3rd and 702 Raspberry at the judicial tax sale. Your second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any questions on the motion? Seeing that there's none, I'll take roll call. Ms. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Gamble,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Groner,
Yes.
and my vote is yes. The ayes have it. So moved. Okay, Erie County Land Bank Work Plan 3, Aaron.
All right, so, you know, as we've done in years past, it's time to start putting together a plan for the land bank in acquisition, you know, and ultimately disposition of some properties. I have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow with the City of Erie Code Enforcement Planning Department to talk about priority properties, and then that just wanted to gauge the board's, you know, if there's a direction the board would like to acquire some properties, you know, is there areas of interest? You know, I know Scott had presented 3 different kind of scenarios last year. I hadn't quite got anything together as far as that goes yet. I know I spoke with the Erie County Land Bank last week, and they are open to seeing a proposal from us. You know, whatever it may be, you know, they've definitely, you know, said to ask for more than, you know, more than we may want, you know, in hopes that maybe we do get it. They definitely want to see, you know, some stuff done, you know, and the money spent. So just kind of putting it out there for anybody for directions you would like to see it go.
Aaron, could I chime in at this point?
Yeah.
And so, as you know, we've started to talk about some of the more industrial related blight and remediation projects that we're trying to run through the county redevelopment authority. And I don't know, you know, what the timing should be or when we should start to work this into our plan, but you know, we are looking in 2021 and 2022 to finalize the acquisition of the former Quinty facility on 16th and French, take that through demolition and remediation, along with the Erie Malleable Iron Building at 12th and Cherry. They're both under contract now. And so I know there's been some discussion at the county land bank level wanting to support our efforts for that. I think that would flow through the city's land bank since these are city properties. And, you know, we had an initial conversation, was that a couple weeks ago, maybe, Aaron, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there, I guess, to update everyone. I brought this up last month, but we are moving forward. We look to close on these properties late February. Initially, we thought we would be jumping on EMI first, but it looks like I think we're going to try to jump on Quinty first. But just working that into our plan, along with a third property that I've brought up before, which is at the corner of 12th and Cranberry, the former Dowling Tavern, which I think was already declared blighted. So just throwing that out there, see what your thoughts are on building that into our plan.
Hey, Chris, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Once it's closed, the real estate is closed, it was the plan to run that demolition through the city land bank? Was that what the county wanted to do?
That was my understanding, yes, because there's city properties that we would run it through the city land bank. I don't know if there's really any other reason we would have to. I think that's just what they felt would be the appropriate route to take here.
In my conversations with Christy last week, they can't spend any money in the city of Erie since the city has its own land bank. Therefore, their money has to come through us. As far as, those properties, she said the board would certainly entertain, assisting with some of the demolition and cleanup of those sites. They certainly would want to see, an environmental plan and then the estimated costs, associated with it, and what other monies would be on the table to assist with that, since she doesn't believe there's enough money to probably handle the entire demolition of a site like Quinty in what they have right now, and what they have on their table with their acquisitions from the land bank this year, or from the tax sale this year. Now the Downing Tavern, that one may be, a little bit more feasible for them to approve now, since it's, a little bit easier for us to estimate the demolition cost of that structure as compared to the other two sites.
I guess, Aaron, is there the plans that Scott left, the 3 scenarios? Is there one of those that you think is better than the other two, or how do you feel about it?
I just, I think right now, we're definitely got the East Bayfront plan and what they're working on there, which may play into it. But really at this point, scattered site, blight mitigation, is probably our best bet. We're still fighting an uphill battle as far as, the amount of blighted properties that every day come into play, and the amount that we're able to take care of every year. We're definitely losing in that end. So whatever we could do to help with that is certainly much received by the neighborhoods.
Well, I think that the best solution here is to continue how we have, to put that plan in place, and then talk with the county and see how, if and when this year we need to help them with that, and then come back with a, because they'll know whether or not they'll be able to tackle one of these or part of one or whatever they can do this year, and then have a more definitive idea of what we need, So I guess the answer is, in my opinion, move forward with the plan that we have, and then add on whatever we need to add to help them. If they're going to do Quincy this year or whatever it takes, we'll work with them to do that. I think that's the answer.
Okay, yeah, we can move it that way.
Is there any other comments about that from the board?
As soon as we can get 16th and French cleaned up, fine with me.
Yeah, it does look terrible. It really does.
And TJ, to follow up what you just said, I understand this hasn't been our normal wheelhouse here. But, there is a desire for not just the County Redevelopment Authority, but for us to make a pivot to begin to tackle a handful of these most troubled industrial sites. I mean, this was what this $2 million investment from the water proceeds, this is specifically what that was for. And so you're right, this is kind of a marginal addition to what your work plan is. But I wanted to bring it up because I think we do need to make that addition. The feedback we've gotten from the county is that they want to fund the city for that activity. This is certainly only going to be one of the sources. We're looking at EPA funding, some state industrial site reuse funds. There's going to be multiple funding sources for these sites. It's going to take quite a bit, but I just wanted to put it on our radar, continue the work that we're doing now, but also, incrementally add this on the margins. And, this would be, nothing's ready to go here in the next couple of months, but, I could see Quinte being one that would be at the end of 21, beginning of 22. So I think it'd be good if we could participate in that.
I agree 100%. We got. We have to.
I agree too.
We have to clean up these. It's terribly embarrassing to have a piece of property just like Quincy. To drive by that, it doesn't speak well for our city. And I think that us spreading our wings and moving forward to, remediate that problem is a big deal. So I 100% agree. We should do whatever it takes to, work with the county to make that happen.
Mhm. And I would agree with that as well, especially Quinte. That neighborhood has suffered a lot. And, and we've basically closed them off when we closed Division Street. And so it's such an eyesore. I'd like to see it down too.
Perfect. That's exactly what I needed to know. So we'll start working on that, and hopefully in February we'll kind of have a plan to present, to you as far as a possible work plan, and we'll go from there.
And Aaron, you and I can work together, we'll loop Sherry in and we can follow up here and keep moving that ahead. So.
Sounds great. Sounds like a plan to me.
Yep.
Super. Is there any more discussion on the work plan? Seeing that there's none, we'll move on to other business. Is there any other business? Any other business? Seeing that there's none, I'll make a motion to adjourn till February. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ms. Feeney. Thank you all for participating today. I hope you had a great holiday, and I hope you all stay safe. We'll see you in February.
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.
All right.